Ladies and gentlemen, welcome backstage, man, to the green room. Rob G just got off stage.
I did. Yeah, it was a bit of a rough crowd, as they say. A lot of hecklers. Had to do my thing on there, but Speaking of backstage, though, please
Yeah.
tell people where you're going to be because you got some big shows coming up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I was just like basking in the thought of like you actually getting up there and talking and saying some shit. But major weekend. Maybe you could pull up on us, bro. It's been a long
Absolutely.
time. San Antonio this weekend, October 23rd through the 26th at the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club. A whole weekend. I can't wait. I'm gonna get some jujitsu in. I'm gonna participate in a short film. Like I got a bunch of stuff.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be a guest on a podcast. You're gonna see me all around town, San Antonio this weekend. After that, my very first time telling jokes in Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't think I've ever performed stand-up comedy. I don't know if I've ever performed anything. I know I've been there, but it might have just been like a meet and greet. Anyway, I can't remember. November 5th, Indianapolis. After that, Brownsville, November 26th. Get your tickets on the website. Tampa, Florida, Side Splitters Comedy Club, great club. December 14th, and that is it. We end the year.
That is 2025. Dude, two things. Yeah, I thought we talked about this years ago, but I've only done anything on stage, like intentionally, like comedy-wise. Man, it's probably been 12 years at this point when I don't even know if Warehouse Life is still there in Houston. I don't even think it's there anymore, is it?
No, what'd you do? Open mic?
Yeah, I did two open mics in the little room there, Warehouse Live. I forgot what they used to call it. I think they used to call it the acoustic room or the gold room. Who knows? It's been forever ago.
I think I did one open mic in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was first starting.
I was going to
bro.
say it had to have been a long time ago.
Oh, bro, it was so bad. I remember the quote unquote material. And you know what? Bless Mighty Soul's heart, bro, for sticking by me because for some reason she decided to accompany me. Like we didn't have any kids or anything. We were just dating, so we were pretty free, like our
Yeah.
schedules. Like now, it's like as soon as we're done recording this, I'm taking Penny to piano. After that, straight to dance. After that, I think I get a short break, and then I get to go to jujitsu, so I get something from me.
Let's pull on that thread a little bit. So when isn't that like the first mistake people say is like, don't invite anybody to your first, open mics. Don't, no coworkers, no friends, especially no girlfriends. You want to, think you're impressive.
Yeah, and like I said, man, bless her heart, because it was just painfully bad to anybody who witnessed it. I kind of just like bad, just I'm just very proud of how far I've come because when I think back to that, it was such a stupid random idea because I was just thinking like, okay, what's funny? Like if I'm gonna start doing comedy, I gotta start thinking like, what's funny? And my girl, she had those two little puppies at the time. Rest in peace, Peanut and JoJo. She had the little puppies, and I was learning a little bit about dogs because of her. Because she'd be like, well, the alpha and this, and oh, well, they sniff their booty because of like just stupid random facts. So I wanted to make some joke about like, yeah, isn't it weird how like dogs like sniff each other's butts just to see like, get information to see who's the alpha? And I was like, humans don't do that. Can you imagine? And I was just like, bro, that is so hacky.
You know what? You can make that funny though. But
Now with the skill set, I might be able to.
yeah, but even that, yeah, yes, one and two, that's not your sensibility, right? So if people know Chingo's comedy, have ever seen him or even listened to previous podcasts in the past, you don't really tend to lean towards that gross or like raunchy kind of like poop jokes or anything that's kind of like hacky like that. It's just never been in your tool belt.
Yeah, and I guess the main thing is just kind of like reverse engineering, like trying to sit there and force and think of like what could be funny, what might be funny. Let's
Yeah.
think funny instead of like, all right, let's look at your life. Pay attention. What things have been going on? What's ironic? What are some things that have a good like misdirection where it's like, oh, and there we were, and it's like, and all this happened in the museum. Ha 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 ha.
There's way more to it too. Like, what do you call people that are not in the industry? Civilians, right? I know
Yeah.
people tend to use that for like, military or whatever, but
Yeah.
civilians that aren't in like media of any sort, especially comedy or music or films or whatever, they can't wrap their minds around how you're able to sit or even what the process is. Funny enough, AI is great, ChatGPT, all those different kind of things. And what I was trying to do is just kind of surf the web in a way that kind of gave me frequently asked questions about you, like to kind of to build on this concept of like Backstage and giving people a better insight into you. Like you got this weekend of shows rather in San Antonio. A lot of people know Trinity, your background there. I don't know if they remember the old radio stories you've told years and years ago about how that kind of all started. And then I was like, okay, how do I craft this into questions of people that people would be interested in that are asked of you? So I have a list of really interesting questions that are asked of you, and a lot of them are kind of basic, but one of the top ones was, how does he craft his material and switch between music and comedy? And I think if we were talking about early Chingo Bling doing the Warehouse Live shows versus
you just did a Gavin Newsom right there, bro. You're like,
nah, don't say that. Don't
you're
say
like,
that.
kind of.
Oh,
Y'all got to see the hand gestures, man. If y'all not watching this on YouTube, y'all got to get on YouTube. Okay, so go on, Gavin.
Way to catch strays over here as I'm trying
Kind
to
of
set up
like
the show. Dude,
transitioning
that
from
guy.
the.
I saw a clip of that guy saying the word interesting about 20 times when somebody asked him a question. He's like, oh, and he's like, the way his legs are crossed too, like
They always do the deep.
right there.
They do the deep. They do the the Barack Obama stretch.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's that's way too manly. What are you talking about?
Michael and I.
No, they get
Michelle
like
and I.
they're like literally like
It's like, bro, you gotta like your nuts gotta go in your body.
yeah.
So I interrupted. So
No, yeah.
transitioning from
Yeah, one of the frequently asked questions about you and your everything, media, entertainment, music, comedy, is how do you shift the brain to go from music to comedy? One, and two is what shapes whether you're doing music and what shapes whether you're doing comedy. I mean, at 40, 40 and some change, I'm sure it's way different, obviously. Or how do you get into that train of thought?
well, the one layer that was missing from that whole scenario you described is how do you literally go from like my wife saying, "Hey, I got to go do a shift at the boutique. I'll finish doing some of the homeschool with her. You need to take over, finish biology, ancient history, like piano, take her to piano, take her to dance. And somehow in between there, post funny shit on time, consistently, that's going to get views, that's going to be engaging, and at the same time communicating where you're going to be, and at the same time preparing to be where you're supposed to be."
Yeah.
So to answer your question, brother, a lot of times it's tricky, especially like in the morning. So ideally, here's probably where the whole thing falls apart. Go to bed early.
It falls apart right there.
There it is. The night before, you done fucked up. Go to bed early. Wake up early so that you can have your coffee, like have time to yourself, do your Bible time, maybe exercise, stretch, something, get your mind right. And then the kids start waking up. Now you're taking one to the little daycare school thing. But at some point, I'll be like, "Hey, Penny, practice your piano because you're not finna embarrass me in front of this teacher when I take you." That's off rip. And then I'll probably, like what I did today, and I've been doing quite often, I might need to slow down, is go to the cigar shop. That's like the den away from home. That's literally like one of the slogans they have there. Your den away from home.
Nice.
So I ain't gonna lie. I went into the coffee shop first and I was like, I'm switching it up. I'm not gonna just be a little addict like that, right? I'm not gonna be just making this an excuse like I can't write unless I'm at the cigar shop. So I went to the coffee shop. Line was too long. It was packed out the wazoo. I said, looks like a tobacco kind of day. Went next door. And the cool thing about to all my cigar aficionados, it's a lot of them out there because I ran into some that were like, "Yo, Chingo, what's up, man? What you doing here?" And then we chop it up. And then as you go up to like relight your cigar, they're like, "Hey, we see you're going to be in San Antonio this weekend." And you chopping it up. "So what are you doing here?" "I'm getting work done." So the cigar allows me to just, first of all, I change my location, slow down, and be able to focus. So what I've been doing from there, and you might find this interesting because I know your mind works like this. So I sat down, I pulled up a photo from back in the day. It was probably like 2005 at a DJ Screwfest where we had our tamal truck. It was a family affair. My sister, like all the prep that just went into making sure this tamal truck is running and like how much are we charging? What are we selling? Like what do they get rice and beans? Who's making the rice? Who's making the beans? Like that whole thing. And you bringing out like your candy coated pop trunk Monte Carlo and you're performing and there's a merch booth. So it's like, are we out of mediums in the air, Chingo? Like that's a lot of moving parts. Mm-hmm. So I pulled up that photo. I animated it with Grok AI. So it turned into like a little 6-second video. It made it move. So now that I have my cigar and I'm slowing down, I'm able to now shift gears, slow down, take a step back, and write like a episode, like a TV show episode chapter synopsis. So I'll read it to you real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
And I bring this up. I know it's kind of like a long-winded answer, but I bring it up because anybody who's a nerd about marketing, story is everything.
Yep.
So what it's really helped me, like by going over there, sitting down and writing up these long captions, is it's one thing to be like, San Antonio, it's that time of year. Y'all know how we get down, this weekend. And it's just another flyer, another year, another invite. You sold some tickets and now you're off to Indianapolis. Instead, I wanted to like tell the story because that's where the meat and potatoes is, right? Because AI, they can generate flyers. AI can generate songs. AI can generate a moving avatar, whatever. But to really go back to reality and just find the story, like if this were a TV show, what's this episode about? Where are we in the arc? So basically, here's what I wrote. I don't know if you could see it. You see that?
Gotcha. Yep.
All right, you see it's kind of like a taco truck. You see the red Monte Carlo. There's a crowd of people getting in line. And my caption is, Texas rap scene 2005-ish. It's a family thing. Chingo is hitting the scene full force and fast. With shine from MTV's My Block, XXL, and Source Magazine, and even contract offers from Diddy himself, the diddler, Chingo must decide, but turns down the Diddy deal and takes the long road instead. With the backing of his sisters and family, it's looking like a homegrown operation, a scaled-down version of Dope House, Swish House, or what the Quintanillas built in Corpus. We see Chingo's family run a tamal truck at DJ Screwfest. Quote, I'm ahead of my time, but people ain't taking me serious. Young Chingo must navigate his newfound fame while trying to stay humble and patient. So you see what I'm saying? Like, hopefully it's just a exercise to kind of like be better at communicating and writing and storytelling. Like, because to me, as I write this, I think to myself, hey, if I did pitch Mo Amer or somebody, hey, bro, I got a little synopsis for a show, bro. Like, I know you got your show going and you got all these projects, but maybe you could executive produce, Ali Sadiq, let me show you something. Maybe you might look at the synopsis and say, nah, Chingo, this ain't a TV show. This is a book. You know what I mean? Let me connect you with some publishers or whatever. Like, just trying to make moves and get out of that little rat race habit of just, I'm headed to your city. It's like, okay, and what significance is that? Why should I feel like I should even participate?
Compelled, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's this is why this podcast idea I think is going to be so great for you, for both of us, honestly, but obviously for you, because when Chico and I used to get together in person to do anything, if it was anything that was supposed to be creative, whether it was a podcast or recording videos of Hue or whatever, it always, I wouldn't even say devolved because that's not the right way to put it, but it would always turn back into like a marketing conversation, a distribution conversation, something that was
product,
yeah, it was adjacent to the main thing, which could have been a creative video, a funny video, or whatever, or music even, or this little intro radio spot, whatever. But then it turns immediately into how do you distribute it? How do you tell the right story? And a lot of people, I think most people these days are really interested in that. I'll tell you what, every Wednesday I have a call with some people that I work with doing other projects. And a lot of the call, it's video call. And a lot of the times it's just like a panel of us going through different things that we're observing on the internet and kind of in the real world too, right? Because if you don't go like 100% on the internet, you still need to know how to touch, have a touch point with your customers via email. Maybe you write stuff, blogs, info guides or whatever. And I think this, being a fly on the wall for like Backstage is a good insight to comedy, music, entertainment. But like what you just described, that storytelling aspect is it's everything for everything. Meaning, no matter what it is you're trying to sell, what are you trying to push, make, get people interested in, or feel compelled towards, it starts with what's the story of the thing. And I think towards, the next couple of 5-10 years, the authenticity that comes with telling a good story is going to push more product, services, tickets than anything has in the last 10 years, I think.
Man, amen to you. And I'm glad you're on my team, bro. So, and here's another thing, just to pivot a little bit, but it kind of still has to do with story. Because this might be another post I'm going to work on. And I might need another cigar. So yesterday,
go for it.
I made it to Jiu Jitsu. Shout out to Urban Jungle. And I hadn't gone in a long time. So I was just not really apprehensive, but just kind of like, man, how rusty am I gonna be? Is this gonna be painfully brutal? Like for the ego mainly, and even just being out of shape. And like, what are they working on? Like, so I just kind of like make myself go, like, cause it's the excuses. I'm out of excuses. Like when I almost fell in the pool and like I had a big scab on my leg, I can't go because I got this scab on my leg.
Yeah.
I'm gonna infect the mats. So, and I've been traveling and everything else. So I went to class. This one gentleman who was like my training partner, I had seen him around. I noticed he was a white belt, and I just wanted to know how long you been coming, bro. How often do you come? How often do you come? That was my question because my goal is 3 times a week and I am very far from my goal at the moment. So I'm just trying to like assess. And he says, man, honestly, it might be once or twice for a few weeks and then I'll fall off for a few months. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're kind of like the same. Fast forward, he gets his blue belt that day.
Oh, wow.
He's been attending that gym in different capacities on and off since 2007.
Damn.
He's been a white belt since 2007. And then somebody else got their black belt. This is Mr. Frank, who's my friend Frisco. He's a beast out of El Paso. He's been doing it since he was a little kid. Mr. Frank's been going to Urban Jungle since 04. 2004. Now he's got his black belt. So he just said, he texted me because I asked him and he told me like, oh, I got my, made it to purple belt by this year, took a couple years off, yada, yada. And then when coach gives him his black belt, coach gives this little speech at the end. And obviously Mr. Frank gave a speech like, it ain't who's the best out here, it's who's left. In other words, it's like, it's a survival game.
Right.
Mr. Frank came back, he stuck around, stuck with it, boom, ended up getting his black belt. I think the oldest ever to test under Tony. And then Tony goes up and speaks. This is our main professor. And he says, I told Frank, when you go in there to test, you can't be fat. Because he's a older guy, a little heavy set. And he's like, you can't be fat. And I was just like, he's talking to me. And then he says, think about it. Y'all coming in here trying to learn self-defense. But meanwhile, you poisoning your body, depending on what it is you're putting in your body. And it was like short, truthful, and to the point. But I was like, fuck, he's right. And because I know it's kind of like, okay, this belt, that little blue belt, it's hard to tie that motherfucker. And I'm like, I think they gave me this size to like just tell me to drop a couple inches or something. But it was a very inspiring class. The technique we were working on was like super cool. It was like the shit that I love, bro. Like mi mero mole. Like when I'm looking on YouTube or Instagram, like the shit that always catches my eye that I just want to hurry up and just like drill. Like, man, I wish I had somebody here, Yeah. And it was basically like, even though we're wearing a gi, it was kind of like MMA style. So it's kind of like parry the jab, like literally just kind of really just catching it. And my coach said, if that fist hits anything, the minute it touches anything, it needs to come back. And that's the whole point. It's like you're not extending or anything. But anyway, you parry the jab and then you slip the jab and then you can go in for that little single leg. So just that like posture up, double leg, I'm sorry, grabbing behind the thighs, staying postured up, using your head, like that whole little movement. I'm like, man, I just love that. And then we did another sequence where you parry the jab, you come into the cross, you like close the distance, come into the cross, and then from there I think you do a single leg and then run the pipe, run the pike.
I think it's from the pipe.
Pipe. Okay. Well, anyway, they taught us how to do that where you like bend down, whip them at the end. And then the other one where you duck under the hook, that little hook coming, you duck up under it. And as you're ducking, you're grabbing that front leg, bro. So anyway, amazing class. And I love that and cigars.
Well, funny enough, I've had this on my desk, dude, since we started the show. I mean, this was from, And maybe you're the expert here that can tell me this. I got this last year for my birthday, and it's funny enough. My birthday was on Saturday, so happy birthday to me.
Oh
Yeah,
man, happy birthday,
hey,
bro.
appreciate you. It's all good. I
Fuck
don't
yeah.
really celebrate birthdays all that much, but it was Buffalo Trace because I like the Buffalo Trace bourbon, and then a buddy of mine got me a bottle at the time for whatever reason, maybe because Rogan, kept talking about it so much. It was really hard to come across around in your local liquor stores. So he got me that, and he got me a Buffalo Trace cigar, and I've had it on my desk for literally 1 year. It's been in the wrapper. Can I still smoke this? Do you think it's still good, or is it just it's way too because it's not been in a humidor? It's not. It's just been on my desk.
I would hurry up and smoke it just so I don't go to waste. And then next time, I guess smoke it sooner. Yeah, because I have somebody brought me one. I guess they noticed I'll be smoking these motherfuckers. So somebody brought me one to a show, and I was like, oh fuck, thank you. Like, bro, you're giving me what I like.
Yeah.
So I got 3 in my fanny pack. That same scenario as you, which is hurry up, smoke the motherfucker. But where I go to the cigar shop, you got to smoke one of theirs, or you gonna pay a $10 fee.
Makes sense.
So I'm like, man, let me just smoke one of yours instead of trying to hurry up and use one of these 3 and spend $10.
And I used to be big into right. It's like lighting up money. I might as well just light up the cigar here. But no, I used to be in a lot, like the little ones. Like I forgot what they're called. Because the reason I got this, I think, as a gift too, because I kept talking about them. But dude, it is a rabbit hole of rabbit holes because you can spend a lot of money on cigars really fast.
Yeah.
The little, I don't know what they call them, like little acid ones, like the small ones, the skinny ones. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm new.
Yeah, the medium ones, and then these bigger ones, and the different flavors, and this.
Yeah,
that,
and then there's
other.
mild, medium, full.
Yeah, dude, it's a cool hobby. It's just a fun thing to have this, smoking on it while you have a cup of bourbon or whatever it is that you might be into, and it's just it is that man cavey kind of escape, essential that's good to have whether you're at home or somewhere else.
Yeah, and dude, right now, I like how I smell.
Because it smell like a manly.
Yeah, and you know what? I went to Jiu Jitsu yesterday, and I still had that little cigar smoke on me. So maybe it gave me a little extra testosterone. Yeah, because for them little double leg, it's like a little mini deadlift. You use your head.
You also had that buzz. You had that buzz, so you had the extra oomph to take the person down.
The little nicotine buzz. Yeah, man. It was a great class yesterday.
Well, speaking of San Antonio, you are going there. People are going to be listening to this. I'm going to drop it this afternoon or tomorrow morning at the latest. So what's the history for those that don't know with San Antonio and Chingo Bling? Whether it's comedy, music, school, what's the relationship there all these years later?
San Antonio was a chapter in my life where I got the glimpse of, could I go into show business? Because there I was, Trinity University, trying to figure out life. I'm already thinking damn, this is it. The clock is ticking. We about to have to go into the real world and get a real career job, work for some, I don't know, get some kind of job. And I stumbled across the college radio department, and I'm on campus, and I cut across some courtyard. I end up in some building. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to take a shortcut. I'm exploring. This is some kind of art building or something. You make a left, and I'm like, hold up. Is that a studio? Is that a radio station? Hold up. Am I still on campus? Did I walk off campus and I just accidentally went across the street? And I find somebody, I'm like, is this part of the college? They're like, yeah, it's our radio station, 91.7 KRTU, Trinity University Radio. I'm like, what do they play? They're in daytime, it's jazz and classical. So it's very and that was Chopin with his Fifth Symphony. Stay tuned for blah, blah, blah. And it's damn, that sucks. So I asked more questions, and I'm like, wait, if I'm a business major, how do I get in there? They're like, you got to have a minor in communications. Long story short, I ended up pitching a hip hop show. Boom, Sunday night. I think it was midnight to 2 a.m. Terrible slot. I accepted. Sunday night happens to be when everybody was cruising Military Drive. So all the youngsters, all the hood youngsters are out there, bumper to bumper, bumping their music. It's like a car show, but they're pulling into the O'Reilly Auto Parts. So now there's a little mini block party, people trying to holler at chicks and everything else. It's the cops show up. All right, hey, we're going down. U-turn by the Taco Bell. So you're just doing this. Well, now I'm on the radio. Now I'm connecting with local artists. Now I'm telling them, hey, bro, I like track 3 on your album. Take the cuss words out. I'm going to play it at this time. Y'all go out there, spread the word. And they were telling everybody, put it on 91.7, put it on 91.7. They're about to play our song. They're about to play our song. You know, hey, it's us, Last Hour Records, Tone City Records, all the local cats. And boom, I start playing it. We start getting a following from jail, people writing letters from prison. It starts growing a following. This is all on like no budget. Like I'm just a broke college student. I work study, which means like I get like $90 every 2 weeks for like working at the library or something ridiculous after taxes, right? And I'm reinvesting some of that in flyers. So now I create the persona Chingo Bling, where I'm like, yo, keep it locked. We're in the mix. You know, we got some brand new Big Mo. Don't forget, we got Lil Flip in studio next week. But right now, oh man, my primo Chingo Bling, man, he keeps calling, man. Hey, before we cut the commercial, man, he's always running late. And it's like, ¿Qué pasó, cabrones? ¿Qué pasó, Sananto? You know what I mean? It's Chingo Bling. Hey, let me rap, dog. You know, and like just talking shit. And it's like, no. Chill. All right, man, let's get back in the mix. And then the phone will light up. Hey, let me talk to Chingo. Hey, where's that fool Chingo Bling? Is Chingo Bling pulling up this week? You know, is Chingo Bling in a rap next week? And then I started recording the raps and I start burning CDs, and then word starts spreading. They start uploading me to LimeWire, FrostWire, you know, Kazaa, all those type of things. Fast forward, I graduate. Baby Bash takes me on the road. We film a DVD. It's called What's Really. He's introducing me to all these people. I'm starting to learn the behind the scenes of how the industry kind of works. So now I'm feeling tempted to be like, look, bro, you're not really putting a lot of effort into getting like a real job with this degree you have. This might be a chance to take what you know and see if you could turn it into something. So at this point, I'm moving back with my parents, and my mom's on my ass. Like, you need to go down to that temporary agency, see if they got any work. Like, you just can't be here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You go in there, you rap, you making some phone calls, you're burning CDs, you go somewhere, you've got some event to go to, you come back, you're making these friends, you're hanging out in these clubs, and I don't know what the hell's going on. Right? Can you imagine as a parent where it's like, yo, you're gonna mess around and just lose yourself in the sauce. Like, you're early 20s, like, clock's ticking. What are we doing? So I told her, give me a year. You know, I think I'm making some traction. Like, they're talking about booking me for this event. You know what I mean? Somebody I think wants a feature. I've got a couple more tracks done. I'm just missing this piece of equipment. Before I know it, I'll have my own CD, and I'm still hitting the flea markets, and I'm carrying other people's titles. And then next thing you know, man, like, Source Magazine, XXL Magazine. Now, like, you're really getting booked. Now you're having to navigate. You know, now you meet Pitbull. You see what he's got going on. He's a few steps ahead. You know what I mean? But you know, he's showing you love, comparing notes. You're networking. You know, these famous like rappers are starting to know who you are. Like, you run into Snoop Dogg, and he's like, "Yo, Chingo Bling." It's like, you're fucking Snoop Dogg. Like, you're not supposed to know who I am, dog. Exhibit knows, you know what I mean? Exhibit was like, look at this Chingo Bling looking motherfucker. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? It's really me. And he's like, oh shit, it's really Chingo Bling. You know, Daddy Yankee being like, yo, you a hustler, man. I see you everywhere, bro. You a hustler. Nori invited me on Mas Maiz. The Diddler trying to sign me. You know what I mean? These are all very significant plots on this timeline. And you got your family helping you. But then there's ups and downs. You're navigating. So San Antonio has been there since the beginning. Like, San Antonio was like the launch pad. San Antonio is where I started my career. Poteet Flea Market. Those are like the first people. Like, this is like farmer's market style. You know what I mean? It's like you're out there on a table. You're just a broke college student. You don't got like the best banner behind you. Like, you're just a kid paying the rent at the Pulga, trying to get your music out. And I mean, fast forward, San Antonio still has my back. They've always had my back. It's one of like my strongest markets. Like, they always sell out the shows, and it's always just a nice full circle moment. Like, it literally feels like a homecoming type of show. And yeah, and that's why I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Dude, those 20, so this is where you would hear like, thank you for listening to chapter 1 of Chingo Bling's 20 years and 20 minutes, right? Like, whatever the book is. because every chapter could just be like 10 minutes long or so to go from right there. Like you even started perfectly. Like everybody close your eyes. There's no talking. All of a sudden. So it started in Trinity University in San Antonio. And like you start telling this story, it's really good, man. It's so fascinating. And there's so many other little paths to jump off. Like even the time at Trinity, how long were you there?
4 years. Yeah.
4 years.
Trinity, 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Dude, the amount of what you could extract from those 4 years in the sense of like nobody has used audiobooks in podcast form other than I can think of like one person. And if you're interested in marketing, you've seen Alex Hormozy online. He's the only person who has put out a book, physical copy. He's done like the webinar style of the book where you could like, watch the launch and then get the physical book and then download the ebook. But then after the book's been launched, after the book's been sold, for those that didn't buy it, or even if you did buy it, he puts it up on his podcast as basically like episodes of the podcast, but they're just chapters of the book, which I think is really good. I mean, people that are going to want to buy from you are going to buy anyway, I feel strongly. And then those that can't afford to, you still want to be able to give them the thing. So it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword because you don't want to give away all of your products away always. But if you know that people are going to support and they're going to buy, cool. And then those that can't, you're going to be like, look, you're going to wait a week, a month, however long, but XYZ is going to be on the podcast, for your consumption,
You just gave me a good idea. So the Tío Juventino audiobook, we should make at least one of the chapters a podcast episode, just so people can get just trip out. It might be chapter 7, chapter 10, chapter 1, whatever. Yeah. And then also you gave me another great idea, bro. The 4 years at Trinity, because it's it's like a fame. Everybody in San Antonio knows that school. Some people try to hype it up to say it's like, it's like, Ivy League of the South. And I don't know, that might be a fucking stretch because I wouldn't even know what to compare it to. Like the closest thing to Ivy League was like the high school prep school I went to, right? So I think it's all in what you decide to focus on and get out of it. But the 4 years there, it would be worth really like telling a funny condensed version of my experience there, because if I tell this in San Antonio, they'll be like, bro, the part about Trinity, bro, like, man, I work right there. It's right by the zoo. Right. You know what I mean? Or like, dude, I'm from San Antonio. I grew up there. Like, and for you to be telling this story of like, I'd have to kind of probably go get a cigar.
There you go.
And just write down all the significant little moments. But I feel like the beginning is being, and I'm gonna say this, it's like in order for there to be a Chingo Bling, right? Like it's me, it's my life. The origins is like the timing of when I grew up, where we didn't have iPads. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the internet. Like a long fucking time ago, like you were on a bike, you maybe had a Walkman, a boombox, like it's the cassette era. Eventually, CDs and shit start coming out, but you're being influenced by that time and your sense of humor, like you're just being molded, your boredom, your need for creativity. So I distinctly remember like being a kid on a bike, riding a bike with my friends, and I had like my little cassette Walkman, and I'm bumping like Eddie Murphy stand up or NWA, Eazy-E's album, Easy Does It. Some funky ass beats, badass cadence, like badass rhymes, and you're just like, well, I'm Eazy-E, I got bitches galore. You may have a lot of bitches, but I got much more. With my super duper troop coming out to shoot. Eazy-E, motherfucker, cold rocking the boots, cause I'm a hip hop thugster. I used to be amongst the, if you heard dope, man, you know I had a drugstore. Getting stupid because I know how, and if a sucker talks shit, I give him a hey, and I'm like in fucking 6th grade. I'm like on a little fucking used bike in 6th grade. So now when my older sisters, they're way older, they go to school, they're at house parties. My oldest sister probably like got married. She probably living in California, has a newborn with her husband that's in the military. And my sister Pat, she's on her way out. She's just graduated high school. So now I'm like the baby of the house, bored. Like there's not even siblings, bro. So now I'm like a fucking only child. So I'm having to like get a hold of my sister's boombox. Right? You're listening to Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, when I'm alone in my room, and I need love. And you're listening to that shit. And now you're tape recording yourself. You're recording yourself trying to make sound effects and tell stories. So like I would press record on the cassette, make the doors squeak, just to be like, there was a lady who lived on top of the hill one day, you know? So you're just fucking bored out of your brain, and the only tools you have are cassette players and shit. And you're watching like 80s movies because there is no Netflix. So it's like, fuck it, we're watching Breakfast Club again, or like Spaceballs or Ferris Bueller. Like there ain't a lot of movies out at the time. This is the beginning of movies. And what I was gonna say about Beastie Boys and recording and
no internet, long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. Is that just really shapes you and molds you, because kids these days, they don't get bored. There's always an instant dopamine. Like it's just a short car ride. We're almost home. Like just raw dog life. Just sit, look out the window. You know what I mean? Sit in silence. And it's like, oh, my iPad died. Dad, charge my. It's like, we're almost home.
Yeah, dude.
Like we're headed to the park. You're gonna fucking run around. Like give it a break.
5-minute drive. Relax.
Give it a break. Yeah.
So to continue on that train of thought, what's interesting, and I was just thinking about this leading up to the call I was having earlier with some of the people I do projects with, is that when you think of consumerism, dude, like especially let's just talk about America, like people love consuming stuff, meaning they go buy stuff. Consumerism in the sense of like purchasing things. But now we have this other consumerism of like watching stuff, like constantly being entertained. If you take the time that you grew up, for instance, we'll just start there. What was the inspiration? Like you said, Eddie Murphy, you know, LL Cool J, all these early entertainers and musicians. But how were you consuming their stuff? It was just videotape, right? Or rather, videotape, VHS, and cassette tape until you started getting into CDs, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So if you pull on that thread and think of how somebody who wanted to be an entertainer got inspired and then created his own entertainment, and now in this generation, we have all the tools. We have everything: internet, Wi-Fi, hardwired, whatever. All the tools. Camera here, camera there. I got 2 cameras right here.
Instant. It's everywhere. It's accessible.
How do you get inspired? This is where I think not only Backstage in itself, but things that you make going forward now in your 40-year-old chapters of life is gonna pique someone's interest who's trying to, like, because here's something that I honestly think is that the world we're looking at now, or you know, we're living through right now with constant streamers, like all these Kick and Twitch and all these different things, and I don't think that that's sustainable any longer. I think these platforms are running out of money in the sense of how they're supporting some of these creators on those platforms. And then if you want to like get into that world, like how do you do it? I think that people are going to see the things you write, book-wise, comedy-wise, or music-wise, the things that you put out, podcasts, sketches, video, whatever, anything that you put out in a storytelling mode is going to inspire people to be like, okay, if we look at the 2 chapters that Chingo went through, for instance, VHS and cassette, Kazaa, LimeWire, the internet, and then now you're on this side where like you could take your pick of how you want to get shit done and out there. There's going to be a better, more efficient way to doing it. And I don't think a whole bunch of people are talking about like, what's the next, like, I think we're on the other side of a hill, but we don't see let's just, for instance, say Backstage is on the other side of this hill, but it's too early to know what's coming up next. And the other people haven't quite gotten here yet. So we're still trying to like navigate those waters unknowingly. Like we're in the middle of these double hills, but it's like, I don't know what's coming yet, but it's something different. They don't know anything at all because they're still stuck in the old way of consuming and doing things, if that makes sense.
So you're saying, okay, so this is kind of how I take what you just said. So basically, to put it a different way, back in the day, when you had your boombox and your blank cassette ready to press record, there was this whole process of discovery where it's nighttime mix show, 97.9 The Box, the thunderstorm, you know, DJ Steve Nice, sound effects or whatever. And then now they're playing some fucking Master P and they're mixing in some Phil Collins, and you know what I mean? And they're playing that new song that just came out. It's like, oh shit. And you're like fucking press and record and you're hearing the mixes and the transitions. And then you're going back. When the mix show ain't on, you're going back to jam the shit you've been compiling. You're making your own mixtape.
Right.
So think of how much joy of discovery and effort and like I play such a role. It's like it's custom. I'm making my own mix based off these DJs' ability that their program directors letting them play some shit. Instead of now, it's like some programmer is programming for the whole country and everything sounds the same. So fast forward to contrast that with, well, if you make a song, you don't have to give it to the DJ to let the consumer discover it and feel special. Or like even back then, you know, a DJ Screw tape. It's like, if you want to hear this DJ Screw guy and the guys from the neighborhood that are rapping, like, you got to go to the Screw shop, or you got to get it from Screw, or somebody made you a copy. It's like the Deadheads, like Grateful Dead. It's like live from Connecticut, 93 live from Connecticut, and they're exchanging Fish and Grateful Dead and these jam bands. Contrast that form of discovery with, well, you could just upload it to your Instagram, then everyone hears it that day, right? Like you're Russ, and you just put it on your YouTube, or send it on your email blast, and you're giving it to them, and there is no discovery. And I feel like there's got to be I feel like the answer to what's on the other side of this hill is some authentic storytelling version of, we know the world that we live in. We know how the world once was. How do you authentically tell a story to where they want to buy the vinyl?
Right. You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Dude, you're absolutely right, because the part of it where you're crafting a story has always been a thing, right? Back then and now, that's still, humans in general, like, we are story-driven animals. Like, from the beginning of time, we are story driven. However far back you want to go, and whatever sources or resources you want to point to, story was number one. So as far as like the discovery part that you said, I think is great too, because I think in those times there was a form of self-discovery as well. How you're curating things, why you're curating it, what had the impact on you to curate said thing, and then also the discovery of the things that you're putting on, you know, your self-made mixtapes or whatever, whether it's music, comedy, you know, shows. So yeah, I don't know, man, like, because we're gonna have this whole AI revolution continue to, you know, expand and blow up, but I think what you can't escape is people are going to want real stuff, and they're going to want stuff that, here's another thing too. I think the overproduction of everything, it's been dying for years, I feel like. And I think now by the end of 2025, it's going to be completely understood by everybody on YouTube, whether it's TikTok, any kind of short form video or long form video. You don't need to go above and beyond with adding every single layer of like sound design and music and all these different flares to your thing. It's just enough to tell the story. The story that you're actually telling verbally, maybe some B-roll you throw on there, like whatever, but you don't have to go that far. People just want authentic, they want digestible. And sometimes when you try to do too much, it's not easily digestible.
You know who's a good example of someone who uses the tools of AI, but always keeping the story first to where the story drives it? It's a gentleman who runs the Congo Gym in Houston. Have you heard of them? It's
No.
KHANGO. They sell supplements, and they also use like this gorilla a lot in their AI marketing. I even hired them when I did my Houston Improv weekend. I even hired them to do a little bit of social media promo, where he basically did this he does a lot of storytelling, but he did this one particular series where it was like the gorilla.
Oh, the gorilla around Houston, right?
Yeah, the gorilla around Houston who
I did see
like
these guys.
missed his flight, but he's like, oh man, I'm over here in the dirty branch, and da 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 da. Oh shit, I'm on the north side, and then he's like mixing people in, like Paul Wall and like Mattress Mac, and then, you know, oh shit, Chingo Bling, by the way, he'll be at the Improv, like that type of thing. But they sell supplements. Interesting dude. His family's from Afghanistan. His grandfather, I believe it was his dad or his grandfather, immigrated to Wyoming and opened up this little boutique hotel where all him and his siblings were raised, and managing that little tiny little hotel in Wyoming. Somehow, some way, I believe he ends up in Houston. I don't know if he went to college here. He was going to get into like medical school and all that, and was feeling burnt out, and decided to instead open up like a boutique gym, sell supplements, all while learning AI and doing some fucking badass marketing.
Wow, dude.
So he's like legit, bro. Like just effective, smart, physical trainer nerd.
Dude, I love that. Any chance you're familiar with an account? His name's it's at RPN, Roberto Nixon.
Mm-mm.
Check it out. So this guy, I've been following for a long time. I found him through a marketing podcast that he was doing with somebody who was in like the world of like Nike and some apparel brands or whatever. Long story short, they stopped doing that podcast about a year ago. But he created, I think, some sort of AI platform himself. He's been in like tech for a long time, but he at heart is a storyteller, right? I want to play this video because it bleeds in perfectly with what we've been talking about. And if you're listening, this is still perfect. You don't need to watch it, but I highly suggest. No free shout outs usually, but you got to shout this guy out just like you shout out. We shout out the is it Congo? Is that the name of the
yeah, Congo, yeah.
So at RPN, Roberto Nixon, let me cue it up for you and then just tell you that this would be a cool collab. I bet you once we put this out, I'm going to make a video, a short of this. So whatever your reaction is to this, I'm going to put it together with this, put it up as a reel. I'm going to tag Roberto, and I bet he'll reply. And dude, this, you can take so much inspiration from this. It's even a bit of a tearjerker. I'm going to try to not blow your eardrums.
Okay.
But it's about Mike Tyson. So check this out.
Hell
Let me cue it up. One of the best storytellers who is on the internet right now.
Mike Tyson's the greatest. Got nothing to do with boxing.
All the abuse anyone human being can be abused as a kid.
Story of Mike ain't a story about boxing. It's about pain.
If he weren't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today.
He taught the world how to use it.
He took me in his house. He didn't even know me.
What kind of impact do you think that had on you? It made me have to be tough.
And I will stay alive, and I will watch you become a...
I'm not going to be grabbed by some guy. Never. Okay.
Because I will not leave until that happens.
I don't want that person to come out. Because if he comes out, hell is coming with him. I ain't a killer, but don't push him.
It's only so long you can run from the pain.
When you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil.
We've got a brand new heavyweight champion of the world. Mike
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
It's just chaos and cocaine and women.
You can't touch me. You can't let him fuck with me. You can't let him come into my world, bitch.
Eventually, you gotta face it.
And that guy's kind of dead now. He fought, screamed, and cried and scratched all the way till he died.
6 years of jail time for Mike Tyson, and he's going to prison right now.
Mike Tyson's 4-year-old daughter has died one day after what police called a traffic accident.
I couldn't handle it all.
The boxing star is suing his former promoter for allegedly stealing.
No one's going to surpass me and the pain I've endured. I'm the king of the barbarians.
That's why he's the greatest.
Life is beautiful because life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them, we loved them, we cared about them, they cared about us. That's the purpose of life, just to enjoy what we had, what we journeyed through it. Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this fear all the time? Why can't it just be peaceful all the time? Then it wouldn't be life.
So I'll just drift disappear for
dude. Well, RPN, the story of Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, RPN, the story of Mike, bro. I grew up in the 80s seeing the myth, the legend. You might have been a little bitty baby, but just like I remember just like going to class, 5th grade. And I think that was like the time that he lost to Buster Douglas. So it was kind of like Michael Jordan, where it's like, oh, the guy doesn't lose. Like, he's the GOAT. And to hear that Mike Tyson like lost to some dude named Buster Douglas, where it's like, shit, he's human. Like, is Buster Douglas any good? It's like, motherfucker, he's got his kryptonite. You know, it's like, how the fuck does Iron Mike, like, no socks, black shoes, black trunks? And one of the reasons I love Iron Mike so much is because of what we just saw, which is that authenticity. Think about how his coach, what was his name again? Custamato. Think about how he kind of like hypnotized him. And sometimes we don't all have the blessing of having somebody like that in our lives, especially as a talented, misguided youth. But a lot of times we don't have that luxury of somebody to like reach in, you know, wake you up. Yeah. You know, some of us, you know, sometimes people's dads play that role. Sometimes it's like a martial arts coach or in this case, a boxing coach. But to like train him up mentally, spiritually, and then physically, just kind of like he had to drill in his mind, like, you're a fucking vicious pit bull, bro. Like, we're learning this type of technique, and I'm making you do all these things because when I unleash you on these people, you're like a savage dog getting every angle on them, like these crazy body hooks, you know, liver shots. And the psychological aspect, how he would just come in,
dude,
black trunks, no socks, black shoes, sometimes nothing else. Like, I'm ready to like show me my opponent. And I feel like he's such a winner in my eyes because to be able to be a human, go through life, wrestle with demons. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, when I always talk about the spiritual side of things, this is like a prime example where why is it always that when all that success comes, that's when all that temptation also. So he went from being that kid who somebody saw greatness in him, built him up to a champion, to all of a sudden you having these little orgies and shit in Vegas. You know what I mean? You on all the drugs. You know what I mean? You doing all this stuff, Mike, that ain't got nothing to do with what Cus D'Amato was trying to, bless you with. So yeah, man, that was powerful.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I've watched it 3 times in a row when he first dropped it over the weekend. But like, perfect example of we're talking about storytelling and all that. But like that, like he said at the beginning, when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. Like that sentence alone paints a picture for you that depending on who you're watching, a Mike Tyson, fill in the blank, and you could put a Canelo in there. Put whatever your favorite athlete is in there. If they've reached those heights, you can kind of paint a picture with that one sentence. So the storytelling in such a short video, I mean, leaves an impact on you that you're going to remember that probably for a long, long time, right? But like that same thing can be done with like the story of Chingo Bling or the story of whoever fill in the blank, maybe not to that extent, but in a way that in the future, going forward, people are going to need more of that side more than to circle back around like, hey, I'm in your, no offense, I'm just saying, but hey, I'm in your city. Like you were saying, like it's a very cookie cut, not just cookie cutter. That's not the right way to put it. It's an antiquated, I think is a better way to put it. It's an antiquated way of getting your message out there, especially if you already have an audience that knows who you are.
Yeah, man. And it's sometimes it's difficult, but I'm glad that I'm kind of like approaching it, at least trying to approach it that way where it's like, all right, I'm going to the den, let's get some office hours in. We know we got to post silly videos and little voiceovers to keep the views up and all that. But also, here's a little bit of meat and potatoes. You know what I mean? So that's definitely what I'm trying to do, especially moving forward. If I plan on not touring as much, maybe not going to as many cities, not traveling every month. It's like there might be a portion of the year where it's like you're still going to see me in San Diego, Dallas, Phoenix, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, your Texas cities. But let's cut out some of the little one-offs where you really ain't that popping and stay put because we got plenty of going on at home.
Yeah.
But also just traveling and touring is a double-edged sword. And since Rob's been around, he's kind of witnessed it from his purview. But to those listening, whether you're an artist or not, whether you have a business that sometimes requires you to be like showing up places, like, a jiu-jitsu person who like teaches seminars or something, like the road will keep you from a career. Meaning if you're gone all the time and you're constantly pushing the tickets and traveling to the place and repacking, going to the next place, like that has its perks and you get to perform on stage and make people laugh and all that. But sometimes the drawback is you're gone so much, it's harder to sustain everything that got you there in the first place, which is, hey man, how many songs you cranking out? Or like, when's the next ebook? Or hey, how consistent are you with podcasting? Like, are you producing from home? And I'm very inspired by the producer Zaytoven because when I just performed in Atlanta, one of his management people, Roland, who I know very well for a long time, he pulled up on me. That was a very nice surprise. And then I believe Zaytoven was there for a little bit in the beginning, so I didn't get to say hi. But Zaytoven, he's a producer, so his business structure is this is probably literally what he does. About 2 hours a day, I'm assuming. He plays at his piano in his pajamas and he gets inspired and he plays it badass. So it's like second nature. It's like effortless, makes a beat, boom, into Pro Tools, save, name it something, and I'm playing. Oh, let's switch it up. Let's go slower. Oh, let's go a little Beethoven with it, and let's do trap drum. Oh, let's do some gospel. All right, I made about 10, 12, whatever, 15, 20 beats in those 2 hours. All right, now let's go hang out and do other things. I'm sure I'm like oversimplifying.
Right.
But he's home. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's producing. He's cranking out the content. And if for whatever reason there was suddenly like, oh shit, like he's doing this Zaytoven and Friends thing. Hey man, are you going to bring that to Denver? Yo, El Paso would love to see that. Minneapolis would love to see that. When are you coming to New York? That's when I would be like, be advised. It's tempting. Make sure you cut it off. Figure out how you're going to balance it. Don't let that get in the way of like, hey, are you still doing your like daily beats? Like, hey, so are you still like in your home studio in your pajamas, like cranking out 2 hours worth of beats? Man, you know what? It's been a while. And I say that to say this. I look forward to my goal, bro, my please, Lord Jesus, everybody listening, pray for me because I want to be able to go to Jiu Jitsu 3 times a week. That's part of my dream. Like, Lord have mercy, please, Lord Jesus, let me figure out how to work from home more and not have to travel so much because I would like to go to Jiu Jitsu 3 times a week and be home more.
Dude, it's like, is that too much to ask?
I'm gonna be a beast, bro. If you let me go 3 times a week for like a while, I'm gonna be nice with it. I'm gonna have some moves.
You know, with the level of skills that you have, like on the mat and off the mat, but like referring back to like RPN, this channel or other people like that, is that when you get to that level of anything, we could use your music, your comedy, this guy's storytelling ability, whatever. You start getting the inbound effect of people wanting to do things with you. Let's collab. Can you come here? Can you do this for me? Or like, can I do what?
You're in demand.
You're in demand, right? Exactly. So I think that, and that's happened for a lot of people. It's happened in waves where they're in demand, they're not so much in demand, or they fall to the wayside because something else took them away from, again, what got them to the dance kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that like with the storytelling aspect of this episode and like you wanting to stay home more, I would challenge you almost when you go into the den later, is that when you talk to yourself, like what could Chingo Bling do in 2026 that is, it's replicable and it's repeatable. Meaning, let's just think, because I've been thinking about this for somebody else, another business that I work with, is if we know everything's in vertical, and this is partially why I actually picked up I'm sure you've seen these, but the Osmo Pocket 3.
Okay.
The little Osmo Pocket 3 from DJI. I got the DJI mics already for some other, projects. I got an Instago 360, the small camera. I got the fucking DJI drone. So I have all the tools, and I use them sporadically, but now I'm like, okay, if we were to work on a project for XYZ, whoever it is, could be you, let's focus on vertical first. Like, how could we do a vertical series, right? What you want repeatable and you want scalable, replicable, any combination of that to where you could just kind of set it up, and then no matter where you are, it's that's the project, that's the project, whoever you're doing it with. So if you're doing storytelling on an artist, a business, a service, whatever, you could do it in your entertaining way. You could do it in a way where it brings demand to not just you for making it, but to the person that's participating as a collaborator, to their business or product, whatever. And that could be, a way to further refine the comedy, the music, because you're constantly writing. You're writing like, what's this little series going to be about, and how do we just continue to do that no matter where we are?
Okay, well, hey, I just wrote down in my notes, repeatable and replicable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick your brain about that more so I can really absorb that.
Yeah, dude, this was a fast hour. We're landing the plane. You got to remind everybody where you're going to be again.
San Antonio, it's your boy. This weekend, October 23rd through the 26th. Don't get sold out. Laughs y mucho más. Call the babysitter, because Chingo and friends are ready for a night full of laughs at the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club, San Antonio, October 23rd through the 26th. Sass!
Without even trying, that was the most authentic, old-school radio commercial you could have possibly done. On Mix 96.5.
Sass!
Or whatever the...
Tooroo!
Whatever the radio station is that just plays the most like middle of the road kind of music, right?
Mr. Maz Mayiz himself. That's when they be like, don't worry, dog, I'm the one that's going to be doing the commercial, bro. We can't wait to have you in Lubbock. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, let me hear that commercial again. Mr. Maz Mayiz himself. And then they're all, they can't deport us all. And you're just like, some of them have to probably go. All right, man. I'm going to take my kid to piano. I love y'all. See y'all soon.
All right, brother. Take care.
Peace.
See ya.